mist is so thick out here, you can barely see a thing. The moon's trying its best to shine through, but these ancient trees, they just swallow the light, creating these twisted, moving shadows all around us. It's like the forest itself is alive, watching. We're deep in the woods, heading towards the old Blackwood Manor. You can see Andrea up ahead in her red hoodie, leading the way. She's all business, her eyes scanning everything. She doesn't look scared, just focused. I'm trying to keep the camera steady, but honestly, my hands are shaking a bit. The air is freezing, and it's so quiet. Unnervingly quiet. The only sound is the crunch of leaves under our boots. Rebecca's right behind me, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The beam keeps catching these old, gnarled trees, and for a second, they look like they have faces, tormented and angry. It's really starting to get to me. This place has a reputation, and I'm beginning to understand why. Every step feels heavier than the last, like we're walking into something we really shouldn't be. Okay, we've reached it. The main gate. It's massive, made of iron, and completely covered in rust. It looks like it hasn't been opened in 100 years. A gust of wind just hit it, and it made this awful groaning sound, like someone in pain. Andrea's touching it, tracing the patterns in the corroded metal. She's turning to the camera now. Legend says that anyone foolish enough to step foot beyond these gates after the clock strikes midnight never lives to see the dawn again. Tonight, we uncover the chilling truth behind the curse of this forsaken place. Here we go. We're pushing the gate open. The garden on the other side is a total wreck, just a tangle of thorns and dead plants. As we step inside, I'm panning the camera up towards the mansion. Wait, there's someone up there. On the balcony, a figure, just standing in the shadows. He's tall, gaunt, and he's holding a rifle. I think that's him. That's the caretaker. His face is all scarred, and his eyes, even from Andrea, they look terrifying. He's just watching us, not moving, just watching. The air suddenly feels so heavy, like all the oxygen has been sucked out. The mansion itself looks like something from a nightmare. Its windows like empty eyes. This was a bad idea. This was a really bad idea. We made it to the front entrance. These huge, dark oak doors look like they've been through a war. They're splintered and warped, and as we push them open, they make this slow, agonizing groaning sound. The air inside is it's thick. It smells like damp earth, rotting wood, and something metallic, almost like old blood. Dust is just floating everywhere, caught in the little bits of moonlight coming through the grimy windows, and the cobwebs. They're like funeral shrouds hanging from the chandeliers and corners. We're in this grand hallway, but it feels more like the throat of some giant beast. The walls are lined with old portraits, and I swear their eyes are following us. Their smiles look more like sneers. Vicki just jumped. Oh my God. A porcelain doll on a shelf just fell and shattered on the marble floor. The sound was so sharp, so loud in the silence. It echoed, and now it's quiet again. Too quiet. We're moving into what looks like a study. There's a huge mahogany desk in the middle of the room, and even though everything is covered in dust, there's a leather-bound diary on it. It looks clean, almost like someone was just reading it. Andrea's picked it up. The ink on the pages looks fresh. She's starting to read from it. Her voice is steady, but as she speaks the words, the room is getting colder. I'm not imagining it. It's genuinely dropping in temperature. The shadows on the walls, they're not still anymore. They're moving, stretching towards us like claws. This diary's describing something malevolent that lives here. Rebecca just grabbed my arm. She saw something in the reflection of that big mirror over there. A figure. Tall, distorted, not the caretaker. Something else. It was lurking just behind us. Did you hear that? A growl. sounded like it came from inside the walls themselves. We have to get out of here. Now. We're running. We just ran down a flight of stairs trying to find an exit. But we're in a basement. It's claustrophobic. Stone walls. And the air is even colder down here. It smells like rust. There are iron cages. Some of them are bent open, and old hunting tools hanging on the walls. There's a hand-drawn map tacked to a pillar, covered in weird symbols and what looks like bloodstains. What is this place? Oh no. The door. The door just slammed shut above us. We're trapped. We're trapped in the basement. Listen. Thud. 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 Someone's coming down the stairs. It's him. The caretaker, he's standing at the top of the stairs, and his eyes, they're glowing red. You have woken the hunger of this house, and now it must be fed. There is no escape for those who trespass. His voice is like gravel and ice. We're frozen. We can't move. But Andrea, she just stepped forward. She's standing between us and him. She's so small, but she's not backing down. She's going to face him. She's going to fight. What happens next? I don't know. Keep watching, and if you know someone who loves exploring haunted places, share this with them. We'll see you on the other side. Hopefully, the air in the basement is no longer just cold. It feels alive, vibrating with an ancient, malevolent energy. Andrea stands her ground, her red hoodie a symbol of defiance against the towering shadow of the caretaker. Behind her, Vicki is hyperventilating, her camera catching the erratic movement of the shadows that seem to be crawling up the stone walls. Rebecca's flashlight beam is shaking, illuminating the jagged scars on the caretaker's face, which seem to pulse with a faint, rhythmic glow. The house doesn't just want to sacrifice, the caretaker whispers, his voice sounding like dry leaves skittering across a grave. It wants to be remembered. Suddenly, the heavy iron cages begin to rattle violently, though no hand touches them. A high-pitched, metallic screech fills the room, making them cover their ears in agony. Andrea notices a hidden compartment beneath the hand-drawn map. She lunges for it, just as the caretaker raises his antique rifle. Inside the compartment, she finds a heavy, tarnished brass key, and a photograph from the 1920s, showing the caretaker, looking exactly the same as he does now. The realization hits them like a physical blow. He isn't just a guardian, he is a prisoner of time. A sudden explosion of darkness knocks them back. The basement walls begin to bleed a thick, black oil that smells of ozone and old earth. They scramble up the stairs as the basement floor begins to crack open, revealing a bottomless pit of swirling mist. They burst back into the main hall, but the mansion has changed. The hallway now stretches 4 miles, the doors multiplying and shifting. Vicki screams as a pale, skeletal hand reaches out from a portrait of a weeping woman, grazing her yellow jacket. They are being hunted by the mansion itself. Andrea sees a distant light. The main door is open, and a blood-red sun is beginning to rise, but the exit feels miles away. They run through the shifting corridors, the floorboards turning into soft, sinking mud under their feet. Rebecca uses her flashlight as a club, swinging at the shadowy figures that manifest from the walls. They reach the library, but the books are flying off the shelves, their pages turning into sharp, paper-winged creatures that swarm around them. Andrea uses the brass key on a small, inconspicuous door hidden behind a bookshelf. It leads to a spiral staircase that goes up, not down. A stake gleamed. The sound of the caretaker's laughter echoes from below. But it's not a human laugh, it's the sound of the house itself mocking them. They reach the top of the clock tower. The giant gears are grinding with a deafening roar. Vicki spots the caretaker standing on the opposite ledge, his rifle pointed not at them, but at the giant clock face. Time is the only lock. He shouts over the roar of the gears. Andrea realizes they don't need to fight him. They need to break the cycle. She looks at the audience. Her expression, one a grim realization. To leave this place, we have to destroy the one thing that keeps it alive. The roar of the massive clock gears in the tower is deafening, vibrating through the very soles of their boots. Andrea looks at the brass key in her hand, then at the center of the clock's mechanism. Vicki is recording everything. Every second, every beat, every sound. She knows Her face pale, her lens catching the sparks flying from the grinding metal. Rebecca stands guard, her flashlight beam cutting through the thick smoke rising from the basement. The caretaker's silhouette looms on the opposite ledge, his rifle still aimed at the clock. The time is frozen. If the hand reaches 12, the house resets, and you stay here forever. He screams. Andrea realizes that the ancient ones mentioned in the diary are UNT ghosts. They are the memories of people trapped in this time loop. She dodges a falling wooden beam as the tower begins to crumble. With a surge of adrenaline, Andrea lunges toward the central gear. She jams the heavy brass key into the main axle. The metal screams as the gears grind to a halt. A massive shockwave of blue light explodes from the clock face, throwing everyone back. The mansion begins to dissolve around them like burnt paper. The walls of the tower vanish, revealing the forest once again. But the trees are glowing with an eerie, spectral light. The caretaker falls to his knees, his scarred face softening as he begins to turn into dust. "Thank you," he whispers before vanishing into the wind. But the nightmare isn't over. A massive, shadowy entity, the true spirit of the mansion, rises from the ruins. It has dozens of glowing eyes and limbs made of dark smoke. Rebecca fires her last flare at it, creating a momentary distraction. "Run to the car." "No," Andrea shouts. They sprint through the decaying garden, the ground vanishing behind them. They reach the car just as the sun breaks over the horizon, casting long, golden rays that burn away the shadows. Andrea slams the door and starts the engine, the tires screeching as they pull away. Looking into the rearview mirror, she sees the mansion is gone, replaced by a peaceful, empty field. But as Vicki looks at her camera footage, she gasps. In every frame, a small, dark shadow is standing right behind them. Even now, Andrea looks at the camera, her eyes cold and serious. "We escaped the house, but we brought the darkness with us. The story isn't over yet." She pauses, then gives a slight nod to the viewers. If you want to see what happens next, don't forget to like and subscribe to Darakani Dania. Your light is the only thing keeping the shadows away. The screen fades to black as a faint, metallic ticking sound echoes.